Good evening. This, the 111th meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council, is now called to order. Please turn off all cell phones and put them on vibrate. Tonight's invocation will be led by Minister Darrell. Is it Darrell? Darrell, okay. Darrell Cribb of the First Mount Olive Baptist Church. After the invocation, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, let's bow our heads. Father God, we first come to say thank you. Thank you on behalf of all that gathered here. Thank you for your many blessings. Thank you for life itself. Thank you for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of being appropriate responsibilities. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, in particular for this assembled council. I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern among the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is an honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives, and joy in their tasks. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you, God, and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Baltimore. It is in your most blessed name I pray, amen.
Amen. Reverend. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Minister Craig, thank you. This is so many great people spelled well. Yes, sir. Not over the wrong. Okay. Okay. The clerk will call the rolls of the members.
President Young, Kraft, Scott, Kern, Henry, Spector, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Rice, Costello, Stokes, Branch.
Keep going away from it. Keep going.
Okay. And Clark. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Today's Showcase Baltimore presentation is by Sarah Johnson of the Baltimore Cash Campaign. Telling us about how to save money.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. On your desks, you have packets of information I'll be referring to. Again, my name is Sarah Johnson. I'm the director of the Baltimore Cash Campaign. For anyone who's not familiar, Baltimore Cash is a nonprofit organization, and the acronym in our name stands for Creating Assets, Savings, and Hope. And we do free tax preparation. It is still winter, right? Winter is still with us. It's still tax season. And we care about making sure that citizens of Baltimore who are eligible receive free tax preparation. You'll see on the top of your packet is one of our flyers that has all of our income guidelines. We serve families in Baltimore or individuals that made $54,000 or less. It's a pretty high bar if you think about it. We can serve a lot of families in Baltimore City, and we encourage people to make appointments. The appointment line is there listed for you, so I won't recite it, but please encourage folks in your district to make an appointment with us to have their taxes done for free. As many of you know, the comptroller has not accepted some returns coming from some various sites around Baltimore City. It has created a huge influx of people coming to our sites, and we're doing everything we can to meet the demand. Every year, we know about 25% of the population in Baltimore City is not claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Child Dependent Credit. We estimate this is about $50 million being left on the table in unclaimed tax credits that could be going back into our community. It really is an economic multiplier effect when people file their taxes, get those big refunds, and spend them locally in our economy. So that's why we care about taxes and making sure that people don't get ripped off. At tax time, we want to make sure people get connected to safe financial products. So at all of our tax sites, people can open savings accounts, U.S. savings bonds, and do other things like getting connected to financial education, financial coaching, benefits screening. It's a full package, so if it has to do with money, we want to be a part of it. So please make sure you let people know about the Baltimore Cash Campaign and this free service in the community. Also in your packet is a colorful flyer that looks like this about Money Power Day. Money Power Day has been going on. This is our 11th year. This is a one-day show, so please don't miss it. You all are invited. It starts at 9 a.m. and goes till 3 p.m. at Poly Western High School. We take over the cafeteria of both schools and make it one big show. We have workshops, over 45 different exhibitors that are there and vetted. Everything from how to start a business, how to pick a lender, home ownership, dealing with your credit, working with a pro bono attorney. We have everything on site, so please make sure you come take advantage. Also things for youth that are there. There's a whole youth zone set up. So please make sure that you let people know. All of the services are listed on the back along with our sponsors. The third piece of information in your packet is a flyer. All of you should have also received this in the email that I sent you all about 2 weeks ago. We are hosting the first forum on financial inclusion in Baltimore City. We recognize that there's a lot more that Baltimore City could be doing to create a platform for financial security, to build programs like ours at a municipal level. And we encourage all of you as policymakers to attend and learn what's happening in other cities. We're flying in 3 experts, one from sort of the foundation level that helps do replication of cities for financial empowerment efforts all over the country. We're also bringing someone in from Delaware and from Miami to talk about what they've done at their state and their local level around financial security. So please come and learn. It's on March 8th. Registration is still open on our website, which is baltimorecashcampaign.org. I encourage all of you to come and learn with us as we think about a financial inclusion agenda moving forward in this new year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for all that you do to get out the word that we can do free tax preparation for our citizens where they can keep most of the cash in their own pockets. Again, thank you. It is the council's custom to generalize the invocation. I ask for a motion to generalize the prayer. Motion by Councilwoman Middleton, second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of adopting the prayer say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries and the prayer has been adopted. We'll now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal of the proceedings from the February 22nd City Council meeting is on the council members' desks.
Is there a motion to approve the journal? Motion by Councilman Henry, second by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of adopting the journal say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carries. The journal is adopted. Chair recognizes Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, members of the council, I move to journalize the state of the city address given by Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake at the meeting of the City Council Committee of the Whole on February 29th, 2016.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of journalize the state of the city address given by Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake at the meeting of the City Council Committee of the Whole on February 29th, 2016, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried and the address will be journalized. Bill signed by the mayor can be found on page 2 of the agenda. Bills to be introduced.
Ordinance 16-0628, Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation, Health Department, $6,833,333. Ordinance for the purpose of providing a supplementary general fund operating appropriation in the amount of $6,833,333 to the Health Department, Service 720, to provide funding for a project entitled Baltimore Projects to Reduce HIV Infections and Improve Engagement in HIV medical care among men who have sex with men, and for a project entitled Health Department Demonstration Projects for Comprehensive Prevention, Care, Behavioral Health, and Social Services for men who have sex with men of color at risk for living with HIV infection and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor City Council President on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriations Committee.
City Council Bill 16-0629, Zoning Conditional Use Convalescent Nursing and Rest Home, 300 through 306 West Fayette Street. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the establishment, maintenance, and operation of a convalescent nursing and rest home on a property known as 300 through 306 West Fayette Street, as outlined on red in the accompanying plat. Sponsor Costello.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 16-0630, Zoning Conditional Use Conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a one-family dwelling unit and one efficiency unit in the R8 zoning district. Variances 317 West 30th Street. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a one-family dwelling unit and one efficiency unit in the R8 zoning district on the property known as 317 West 30th Street, as outlined on red in the accompanying plat, and granting variances from certain lot area size, off-street parking, and floor area ratio requirements. Sponsor Clark.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 16-0631, zoning, alcoholic beverage sales, public nuisance prevention. Ordinance for the purpose of classifying alcoholic beverage sales establishments as conditional uses that require zoning board approval, subject to certain considerations and conditions, including compliance with certain alcoholic beverage sales, public nuisance prevention requirements, allowing alcoholic beverage sales establishments that legally pre-exist a certain date to continue as non-conforming uses, subject to certain conditions, including compliance with certain PMP requirements, establishing an alcoholic beverage sales public nuisance prevention board, and providing for its composition, administrative staff, and powers and duties, authorizing the PMP board to assign complaint response teams to investigate and report to the board on alleged violations of PMP requirements, providing for the designation of certain public nuisance prevention officers to conduct periodic inspection to ascertain compliance with PMP requirements, requiring the zoning administrator to refer violations of PMP requirements to the PMP board for its investigation, and in certain cases, re-referral to the administrator for possible suspension or revocation of the establishment's conditional use or non-conforming use status, requiring alcoholic beverage sales establishments to pay an annual public nuisance prevention impact fee, and for violation of PMP requirements, enhanced impact fees, providing modified procedures for appeals to the zoning board of PMP actions by the zoning administrator or the PMP board, requiring the issuance of environmental citations and civil citations for violations of PMP requirements, defining and redefining various terms, mandating a certain period during which first violations of PMP requirements may be enforced only by the issuance of warnings, providing for a special effective date, and generally relating to the prevention and abatement of public nuisances attributable to alcoholic beverage sales. Sponsor Mosby.
Chair recognizes Councilman Mosby. Co-sponsor Councilman Kern. Co-sponsor Councilman Stokes. Chair recognizes Councilman Mosby.
First and foremost, I would like to apologize to Paul. Sorry for not breaking it up in 4 bills. I didn't make that joke up, actually. Bill Henry gave me that joke, so I can't take credit for it. First and foremost, I would like to thank student doctor, let me make sure I say the name right, Praveen Raghunathan, for being part of the coalition, as well as Elise Grossman in the back for helping me out draft this legislation. The purpose of this legislation, I know to many of my colleagues, is kind of scary because it's so large, but the purpose is right now in our communities, many of our neighborhood associations, many of our residents and constituents feel very frustrated as it relates to the liquor board process and pointing out bad actors associated with these establishments in their communities. The purpose of this bill is to provide more autonomy and ownership inside of the community to talk about the operational procedures and characteristics of liquor establishments that are inside of neighborhoods and communities. One thing that I would like to point out, this does not affect any restaurants, and what it does do is just, again, provide performance standards and operational procedure standards on these institutions inside of our community that should be benefits to the community and not bring down the community as it relates to nuisance issues. The purpose of this is to establish a board. The board would be made up of not only community members, not only subject matter experts throughout our community, but also liquor establishment owners to look at the violations and look at the complaints that are coming from communities to ensure that they're adhering to this. And that's why we did it from a zoning perspective. I would also like to point out this is not a machete, but it's a scalpel. This is not putting all businesses that operate or have certain characteristics all under one roof, but it's saying to the bad actors, we can point them out and ensure that they're, again, benefiting the community and not bringing down the community. So I'm excited to have a cross collaboration of support of many residents and constituents on this particular bill. I look forward to having a hearing to talk about these issues and talk about how we can better our community and better our outcomes. One last thing, a couple months back, and I'm not sure if any of my colleagues have had the same experience with the current liquor board, but they refused testimony that I sent via letter, and they refused kind of my legislative assistant to provide testimony associated associated with the complaints that we have received from a particular community about our liquor establishment for years. And they've also reversed some of the decisions that have been made by the prior liquor board. So again, this just provides, through a different mechanism from a zoning perspective, community autonomy over establishments inside of their community. I look for a healthy discussion, and I thank you for my co-sponsors.
Thank you. This has been signed to the Land Use and Transportation Committee. Resolution to be introduced.
City Council Resolution 16-0291R, informational hearing, food stamps for seniors. Resolution for the purpose of inviting senior citizen advocates and representatives from the state and local agencies involving and providing food benefits to seniors to appear before the City Council to discuss how food stamps, known as the Food Supplement Program in Maryland, can help feed the hungry in our elderly population, and how this program can better serve seniors in the future. Sponsors Welsh, President Young, Henry, Middleton, Curran, Costello, Scott, Reisinger, Clark.
Please note Councilman Kraft, Councilman Mosby, Councilwoman Spector, and Councilman Branch as co-sponsor, and Councilwoman Holton as co-sponsor, and Stokes. Okay. Chair recognizes Councilman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution is the outgrowth of a listening tour of senior facilities throughout the 9th District. At each facility, the issue of food stamps came up, and I was appalled to find that food stamps are issued to seniors for $7, $8, $9. The largest amount that I encountered was $17, and the amount of time that they have to spend actually getting food stamps is almost an entire day. I hope these people who led and trailblazed for us to allow us to be in these chambers today are treated more fairly and are have available to them resources that don't put them in a position where they have to make choices between food, medication, and rent. That's the whole reason we are having this informational hearing. We want to improve their lives and make sure that they have adequate resources to function just as we do. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Urban Affairs and Aging Committee.
City Council Resolution 16-0292R, request for state action, support SB 329, resolution for the purpose of calling on the General Assembly to enact and the governor to sign SB 329 or similar legislation allowing nonviolent ex-offenders who have paid their debt to society and proven they are not a threat to their communities to have their criminal records expunged. Sponsor Henry, Clark, Welsh, Holton, Curran, President Young, Middleton, Costello, Scott, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Branch as co-sponsor, Councilwoman Spector, Councilman Mosby, Councilman Kraft. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, let me tell my colleagues, because originally we had hoped to ask for immediate adoption of this tonight, but just late this afternoon, I learned that the bill named in this particular resolution of support was actually a duplicate of another bill that has the same intent at the General Assembly, and this one was withdrawn, but the other one is proceeding. So what I'm going to ask tonight is that this bill be sent to committee so that we can have a quick hearing this week, make an amendment to change the name and title to the one that will be proceeding on for consideration at the General Assembly, and then bring it back to the council next week for final approval. It is still, I believe it will be now Senate Bill 712 that will be supporting by Senator Pugh, but the same concept of broadening the kind of offenses that would be available for someone who has paid their debt to society and is trying to turn their life around, but is finding themselves hampered by having that item or items on their record. Would have the ability for nonviolent crimes, it's very important for nonviolent crimes, they would have the ability still now to go and petition the court to expunge their record. So,
Councilwoman Spector?
Does the lead sponsor know if this has a House bill also?
I believe there is a House bill that has been introduced with the same intent, but it's not technically a cross-filed bill. It appears that there are a number of advocates down in the General Assembly pushing this issue, and a number of different members of the General Assembly have responded by putting in legislation trying to get this policy change made. but none of them are formally connected to each other, and so that's why the General Assembly, in their infinite wisdom, is sorting them out even as we speak.
So I just recommend, Mr. President, and to the sponsor, that if there is one, have that heard as well at the time that you're asking for a hearing on this one.
I would be happy to take that up with the committee, and I'll be announcing a hearing later on in this meeting.
I haven't signed it yet.
I'm hopeful that the chair of the committee to whom the president will assign it will be announcing a hearing later in this meeting for later this week.
This resolution is assigned to the Housing and Community Development Committee.
City Council Resolution 16-0294R, request for state action, local appointment of school commissioners. Resolution for the purpose of calling for passage and enactment of House Bill 1285. Whoops. City Council Resolution 16-0293R, request for state action, support the Maryland Clean Energy Jobs Act. Resolution for the purpose of calling on the General Assembly to enact and the governor to sign the Clean Energy Jobs Act to combat climate change, create and sustain jobs where they're needed most, and start to unlock the full talent of our state's clean energy entrepreneurs. Sponsor Kern, Costello, Kraft, Clark, Stokes, Henry, Holton, President Young, Middleton, Scott, Walsh, Reisinger.
Please note the Councilwoman Spector, Councilman Branch, Councilman Stokes, Councilman Mosby, as co-sponsor. Chair recognized Councilman Kern. And Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the season that we support legislation in Annapolis that I feel will help and benefit our city. And I believe these two bills that they pass in Annapolis will have direct effect on our city. The Clean Energy Act would raise Maryland's clean energy standard to 25% by 2020 and invest $40 million in workforce development, women, small-owned and minority business enterprises in the renewable energy industry. By increasing our clean power to 25% by 2020, Maryland is poised to stimulate a statewide resurgence of manufacturing and construction jobs. By increasing the carve-out for solar, we will see the growth of nearly 2,000 new high-paying Maryland solar jobs and new solar companies in Maryland. Increased incentives for land-based wind power would create another 4,600 jobs in the region. But most important for me, Mr. President, my colleagues, the funding would seek to advance employment opportunities and job readiness from economically distressed areas with high areas of unemployment. The law also seeks to advance opportunities to provide job training for workers that face barriers to entry into the labor force, including those that are homeless, prior criminal records, receipt of public assistance, unemployment with no high school education, and also provisions for veterans of the armed forces. Most importantly, as our mayor spoke this afternoon, I'm going to quote one line from her State of the City. She talked about the high-tech jobs now that are coming into our city. As exciting as it is, quote unquote, to see so many high-tech jobs created, I know that we must also create opportunities for those who are the toughest to employ in our city. And hopefully, the laws will pass in Annapolis and Governor Hogan will sign them. And somewhere down the road, we will see the benefits directly affecting some of the most distressed and economically distressed areas in this state, including Baltimore. With that, Mr. President, I ask for suspension of the rules for immediate adoption of resolution.
Second by Councilwoman Spector. All those in favor of suspending the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Kern.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for immediate adoption of City Council Resolution 16-0293R.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of adopting resolution 16-0293R, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted.
City Council Resolution 16-0294R, request for state action, local appointment of school commissioners. Resolution for the purpose of calling for passage and enactment of House Bill 1285 to restore local control of Baltimore's Board of School Commissioners. Sponsor Costello, Henry, Curran, President Young, Middleton, Scott, Holton, Clark, Reisinger, Welsh.
Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under the current governance structure for the school system, there's really no elected official that's completely accountable for the success or the failure of the school system. I think it's something that we would all agree needs to be addressed immediately. House Bill 1285, if passed and enacted, would provide for the mayor being able to appoint all of the school commissioners with the advice and consent of the city council, meaning that the city council would approve those nominations for the school board. This bill is going to be heard by the Baltimore City delegation this week, and then we'll go to the entire House, I believe, on March 17th.
You move to suspension of the rules?
Yes, and I apologize. Mr. President, I move to suspend the appropriate rules so that the council can immediately adopt this
Second by
resolution.
Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of suspending rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carried, rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Mr. President, I move the resolution favorably.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of adopting resolution 16-0294R, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried, this resolution is adopted. I know, I got you. Please note Councilwoman Spector, Councilman Kraft, Councilman Mosby, Councilman Branch. Any more co-sponsors? Councilman Stokes. Okay, unanimous. All right. You can find the consent calendar in Section 8 at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Motion by Councilman Kern, second by Councilwoman Middleton. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried, and this calendar is approved. We'll now move to bills on second reader. Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0562, sale of property 10 South Frederick Street, for the purpose of authorizing the mayor and city council of Baltimore to sell at either public or private sale all its interests in a certain property known as 10 South Frederick Street and no longer needed for public use, and providing for a special effective date.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. We have 10 South Frederick Street sale of property. We held the hearing on February 25th last week, and there is a amendment to the bill before us. I'm sorry, actually, I'm reading the wrong bill.
Yeah, there's no amendments on this one.
Mislabeled. 10 South Frederick Street. There is no amendment. We move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this bill, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion has it, and this bill moves to third reader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Hold up, call. You got to read it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
City Council Bill 15-0611, admission and amusement tax, arena artistic performance exemption, for the purpose of exempting certain artistic performances from the admissions and amusement tax, defining certain terms, and generally relating to the admissions and amusement tax.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the amusement tax bill that is before us, amended to create a specific exemption category for the admissions and amusement tax. There is an amendment on the desk of all of our colleagues here this afternoon. The Department of Finance had an unfavorable report. The Department of Law was favorable with comments. Those comments meaning the amendment that is before us. I move the bill favorably. I'm sorry, I move the amendments first.
Second by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of approving these amendments, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The bill is amended. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of approving this bill, say aye. Those opposed, nay. Who's a nay? Please note that Councilman Stokes passed. Councilman Mosby is a no. This bill moves to third reader. Third reader to be held one meeting.
City Council Bill 15-0600, Plant Unit Development, Amendment 2, Greektown Redevelopment, for the purpose of approving certain amendments to the development plan of the Greektown Redevelopment Plant Unit Development.
Third reader for final passage.
City Council Bill 15-0543, Plant Unit Development, Amendment 1, Whitehall Cotton Mill, for the purpose of approving certain amendments to the development plan of the Whitehall Cotton Mill Plant Unit Development. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Kern, Henry, Spector, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 16-0623, Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation, Mayor's Office of Human Services, $1,652,000 for the purpose of providing a Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation in the amount of $1,652,000 to the Mayor's Office of Human Services, Service 895, to provide funding for the following: Men's Overflow Shelter, Low Barrier Shelter, Code Blue Shelter, vouchers, and providing for a special effective date. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Kern, Henry, Specter, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 16-0624, Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation, Mayor's Office of Human Services, $213,000 for the purpose of providing a Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation in the amount of $213,000 to the Mayor's Office of Human Services, Service 894, to provide funding to create 3 4-person teams for assertive outreach to individuals who are experiencing homelessness and co-occurring illnesses such as mental health or substance abuse issues, and providing for a special effective date. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Kern, Henry, Specter, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved. Committee announcement. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton. I was over there last week.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Appropriations Committee would like to announce a rescheduling of a hearing of Resolution Number 15237R from Tuesday, March 29th to Tuesday, April 5th, 2016, 4 p.m. in the Reeves Room, Budget Oversight Hearing for Baltimore City Public Schools. Mr. President, I need to move for suspension of Rules 10-2, 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Council Vice President Reisinger. All those in favor of suspended rules to announce a hearing, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Appropriations Committee wants to announce a hearing for City Council Bill 16628 for Tuesday, March 29th, 4 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Supplementary Federal Fund Operating Appropriation, Health Department, $6,833,333. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Branch.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Tuesday, April 5th, 2016 at 4 p.m., the Public Safety Committee will reconvene the hearing of Resolution 15-0233R regarding the allocation of federal criminal seizure funds for police vans and body cameras, originally held on August 4th, 2015. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Taxation, Finance, Economic Development has hearings for 2 bills. Bill 15-0593, which is sale of property 225 North Franklintown Road. We will hear that bill Thursday, March 10 a.m. here in Chambers. Following that hearing, we will hear City Council Bill 15-10594, which is sale of property 222 North Calverton Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the Land Use and Transportation Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 14-0440 on Wednesday, March the 30th at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. This is a zoning, it's a conditional use conversion of a 1-family dwelling unit to a 2-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district, granting a variance located at 1314 West Lombard Street. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Committee announcement. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry. Any more committee announcements over on this side? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to do suspension of rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing of legislation introduced tonight.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of suspending rules to announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Housing Community Development Committee will meet here in Chambers at 1:30 this Wednesday, March 2nd, to hear City Council Resolution 16-0292, Request for State Action Support SB 329. And then the Housing Community Development Committee will meet here in Chambers at 11 a.m. on March 22nd to hear City Council Bill 15-0598, which is city streets closing the beds of Berlin Street, Ontario Avenue, West Hamburg Street, and 2 10-foot alleys. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee announcements. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger. Oh.
She did. They weren't paying attention.
Regular announcement. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft and Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, just very briefly, Mr. Ron Overby, who had been a long-time president of the Bayview Business Association, passed away recently. Mr. Overby accomplished many things, but one of the things that we were most proud of was he adopted a good portion of the area at the intersection of Eastern Avenue and Dundalk Avenue. The association did, and they took it over and maintained it and continue to maintain it for the city of Baltimore, raised money, and have done a really fine job there. If you ever get by that intersection, you see what they've done with the bus stop and the brickwork they've done and the ironwork. So he's going to be missed, and I would ask that we have a moment of silence for Ron Overby. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Mr. President, members of the council, last weekend we held the second annual Lenny Braxton Middle School Basketball Tournament at Herring Run Rec Center in honor of Mr. Braxton, who passed away last year suddenly. It was a great event for all, but this year we tried to do it a little differently. We actually had both middle and public and private schools in the tournament. We would like to thank Odyssey, the Odyssey School, Gilman School, Booker T. Washington, Windsor Hills, NAF, Calvinton, and Vanguard for participating in the tournament, and we look to seeing them all next year.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry, then Councilwoman Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Shortly, the Vice President is going to stand up and tell us when the very next City Council meeting will be scheduled. I would just like to take a moment and call everyone's attention to the fact that because today is February 29th, on a leap year, the next City Council meeting on a leap day will not be before 2044, that being the next time that leap day will be on a Monday. So since this will hopefully be my last chance to address the council on leap day, I would just take this moment to put in the record, I hope that the Council of 2044 makes a point of scheduling a meeting on that Monday so they do not miss this once-in-a-generation opportunity. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton, then Councilman Mosby.
I just want to congratulate Forest Park High School on behalf of that school kind of sits with the 5th, 6th, and 8th district. And the girls' basketball team just won the division championship, and hopefully we'll try to figure out a time where we can have them there. That school sits kind of quietly in a corner, and this is I think their third championship win, but this particular win was against Mervo, the alma mater of one of my colleague here. So just a shout out to the Foresters of Forest Park High School.
Chair recognizes Councilman Mosby.
I also didn't create this on my own, but this is to Paul. Happy birthday, Paul. Today's his birthday. Councilman Kraft just told me, so you know how much you mean to us on the council, so we thank you for all your service. Yeah. Secondly, Council President and colleagues, I stand today another historic victory for the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute men's basketball team. The first time in school's history, we know how old Poly is, we know of all the accomplishment, we have never ever won a city championship basketball title. We will also probably be the #1 team, public school team in the state of Maryland towards the end of the tournament. So I didn't bring the guys in right now. I'm going to bring them in when we win the state title. But really excited. We had the opportunity of beating Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School by 30 points in the championship game. So, and to people who understand and know basketball, I think there was 3 or 4 alley-oops in that game. So thank you to our friends in East Baltimore. But no, I'm excited as an alum. A lot of alum are excited. And I would like to say, again, congratulations to Coach Sam Brand and the team.
Did I hear you say you did an alley-oop?
3 up.
Okay, you have another poly graduate in the back who holding his hand up, so he's going to get a couple days off. No, in all sincerity, I want to congratulate Polly as well, because it's well deserved that they at least win one out of what, 35, 40 years? Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton. Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, today is the last day of February, so it's just a reminder to everyone that tomorrow begins Women's Her Story Month. And so please keep that in mind as we look at ways to commemorate the accomplishments of women and the significance that we would not be the nation we are without the contributions of women. So just look forward to more good things about all the wonderful things that women do to make a difference in the world. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Branch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the brother of Judge Robert Bell, Joseph Bell, who passed away last week. Thank you.
Okay, sorry to hear that. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark.
Two items, Mr. President, members of the council, along with congratulating Forest Park, and Polly, coming from somebody with children, with grandchildren at City, but that's, and representing proudly Mervo. So congratulations. It's nice to be able to say that every once in a while. I'd also like to remind everyone that my colleague will be chairing a hearing on Wednesday at 5 o'clock about broadband, and our hearing about the report that the mayor's task force, the Smarter Baltimore Task Force, has prepared and where it stands now, and how fast we can get fast internet service, affordable and widespread into Baltimore. That will be at 5 p.m. on Wednesday evening, and it will be broadcast on this very channel if you can't make it down here. But we hope you do come. And finally, on a sadder note, but really a joyful note because he was such a great guy, firefighter Cliff Williams of Remington died last week. It was was a great person. He was married to Shirley, who was the crossing guard at 26th and Charles for decades, and he himself was a great figure in the community, and also at 21 Engine, or 21 Truck, where he served for many years. So I would ask for a moment of silence for firefighter Cliff Williams. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, members of the council, the next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, March the 7th, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. And Mr. President, I ask for a moment of silence for Ron Overby, Cliff Williams, and Joseph Bell.
Thank you. There have been no further business. This concludes the 111th meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council. Good night.